Yo, welcome back to another episode of Please Be Happy. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day.
Oh, you didn't finish this one.
Okay, let's go to the waterfront and visit Fisherman Uncle Dad. Now that I can be remembered, I decide to go introduce myself to Mr. Kim for what should be the last time. Before the day ends, I head to the waterfront and wait for him to not be busy with anyone else.
Hello, miss. Here to fish?
Hi. Actually,
I give him an explanation of my magic, as well as run through the things he's shown me and told me. When I'm done, he rubs his chin, then laughs.
You know, that all makes perfect sense. I could remember some of those things, but not who I was with. I've been thinking it was my memory starting to fail on me. Glad to hear it's just magic.
Oh yeah, dude, whenever you just suddenly forget what you're doing or whatever it is, like when you go to the fridge, that's not you being forgetful or getting old. That's Miho.
And as for us, Miho, well, I suppose that makes you my new old friend then.
He sticks out his hand, and it takes a second for me to realize I'm supposed to shake it, but I do. We exchange phone numbers, and he promises to keep in touch so that he won't forget about me again.
talk to you later. Good night.
I press the button to end the call on my phone, and then gently set the device on my windowsill. Getting through the phone calls needed to make sure I'm not forgotten is a lot more work than I expected. I'm glad that the people I've befriended are willing to put in the effort to see me every day. It's still such an inconvenience, though, and such a risk. For their sake, as much as my own, I need to try to find a better solution. Whether that means getting rid of my magic entirely or not, I have to at least know what my options are. I can't leave it all for Aspen and Juliet to figure out either. I need to put my own effort in too. While I'm not nearly as good at reading and researching as they are, there still is one idea that comes to mind a few times. It's time to finally put into action. Leaving my phone in my room, I get dressed and slip silently out the front door, making my way to Mount Victoria. I don't really particularly care for this idea, Miho. Okay, we'll see. We'll see what happens. At the very edge of the path, I transform, nose close to the ground. I head for the tree line and the wild part of the mountain. I'm rusty when it comes to tracking, and the sheer number of scents that assault my nose is overwhelming. I have to sift between them in my head while I run, disregarding the ones that I can tell are humans or other fabled, or just part of nature. It isn't until I'm far from any roads or homes that I finally catch what I'm looking for. That familiar but unrecognizable presence. Honing in on what I can detect of Silver's trail, I follow it as closely as I can. Sometimes the lead goes cold. I pick it up again a few meters later. Oh man, I'm having trouble reading tonight. It's after work. I'm tired. Give me a break. Listen, I'll try my best, but just for you. The path is windy and hard to follow. How does anyone live like this? It doesn't feel as if the path is leading anywhere in particular, but I stay on it, keeping my eyes and ears peeled for any other signs of her. Finally, after picking up the trail yet again near the river, I follow it until I reach a familiar spot and transform yet again.
No way.
It's been weeks, but traces of my den are still there. The weather has destroyed a lot of it, but the tunnel is only half caved in, and evidence of the holes where I buried my snacks and supplies remain too. Has Silver been staying here? There aren't any signs of life more recent than mine. Still, her scent ends here, as if she just disappeared. Something rustles from over near the collapsed den. Even with the moonlight, it's hard for me to see, so I change back into a fox, straining all my senses to detect anything. I don't. Nothing but me and the wind. Changing forms yet again, I still get the feeling that I'm not alone.
Hello?
Closing my eyes, I listen for any kind of response. A footstep, or a whisper, or even a breath. All I hear is silence.
Pitiful.
The voice is just inches from my ear, and I leap away on pure instinct, spinning around to face Silver.
I gave you so many chances, and you failed every one of them.
I don't know where she came from, or how I didn't notice her. But she's here, slouching in the moonlight. Although I'm sure that, just like me, she could turn and run at a moment's notice. Or fight. I hope that's not what she wants, because I don't think I'd win.
How'd you do that? Sneak up on me like that, I mean.
I didn't even have to try. I see nothing has changed since last time. If anything, the human pet has only gotten more docile. Tell me, do they feed you scraps from a bowl as well?
It's a plate, usually.
She certainly hasn't gotten any nicer since last time. As harsh as she sounds, she remains at a distance, and I let myself relax a little. Now that I've had time to get used to her existence, she doesn't seem as intimidating. Even if I was more scared, I wouldn't want to show it like last time. Maybe it's because she reminds me of myself in some ways. Although her arms are crossed, one of her wrists shines in the moonlight from where her bead hangs on a strap. It's almost like looking into a mirror. We're as different as any two people can be, but just by existing, I feel some kind of bond with her. Something wild. Behind her shawl, I can see her eyes narrow.
So you admit it then. Perhaps it's for the best. A dog dreams of nothing more than its master's hand. You can close your eyes, forgetting what made you open them in the first place, and disappear.
Silver spits out her last words like a challenge, daring me to respond. Her eyes shine like her bead does. I wonder if mine says anything about me. I don't respond, unsure how. Not because she's made me question myself, but because I don't think she'd believe what I have to say. It feels like it's been ages, but not really. It's only been a few months that I've been here in New Zealand, not even a year ago. Didn't I feel the same way she does? Telling myself that I wasn't missing out on anything by being alone. Chasing some dream for decades without even stopping to think about it. Just dreaming my way through life. How could I tell her that? What could I say that would change her mind? I already know the answer. There isn't anything. Sometimes, there are no right words.
I see you have forgotten how to speak as well. But tell me, if you can, what was it you hoped to achieve by coming here? I could have left you chasing your tail in the dark if I'd wanted to, but you've somehow made me curious. I fail to imagine the desires of a hound.
I unhook my necklace and hold it in one hand. The pearls make a soft sound as they bang against each other, but my bead clatters loudly against its neighbors. It's still glowing, same as this morning.
Because I wanted to ask you something. If there was some way to stop our magic. Stop people from forgetting about us.
My fingers curl over the bead. I don't even have to see her face to know her reaction. She laughs, just once, and it sounds like a bark.
You managed to surprise me again. I didn't think even you would be so shameless as to try and rid yourself of your gifts. Ignore them, perhaps, but to abandon them. You have outdone yourself, dog. Fitting that you wear it around your neck like a collar. As for forgetting, I can only guess at what you must mean. Don't think yourself the same as me. My magic is nothing like yours. It takes a different form in every one of our sisters. My sisters, I should say.
Then what does yours do instead?
I don't see why I should tell you that. A dog need not concern itself with affairs above its head.
This dog thing is getting pretty old, you know.
Then leave. I only chose to acknowledge you to satiate my own curiosity. It won't happen a second time. Goodbye, dog.
Quick as a flash, Silver transforms, the glow from her bead lingering for a moment in the air. Before her paws have all touched the ground, she's already running away. Soon, even her shining fur disappears into the night. I don't give chase. I never really expected her to answer my question in the first place. Still, I don't think this visit was a waste of time. Before I leave, I take a final look around my den. When I left here with Juliet months ago, I expected to be back soon. But since I never went back, I never really said goodbye. It wasn't much, even then, and it's even less now. Compared to some of the other hideouts I've made, I didn't stay here very long. Still, it's special. I'd have a hard time going back to sleeping in the ground instead of a bed again, even if I had to. Maybe it'll change in the future, but right now, I'm pretty sure that this will be the last den I ever made. Looking around, I'm all alone again, and it's silent. The birds that used to chirp and greet me in the morning are either sleeping or gone. Still,
Night-night, birdies.
I whisper a final farewell before changing forms and dashing back to the library. Yeah, well, I'm glad Miho made it back okay. The next morning, I once again keep my visit with Silver to myself. Breakfast is as tasty as usual, and after a good meal, Juliet goes to bed and leaves Aspen and I on our own. I stand up from the table and stretch, expecting Aspen to do the same.
Time to go, huh?
Not today, actually. Regina's having me go back to working a mid-shift on some days, so I don't have to go in until noon.
You kind of seem unhappy about it. Isn't this a perfect time to go on a date?
Meaning, I can spend the whole morning with you, if you want.
Of course I do. Why wouldn't I?
Oh, no, I didn't mean it like that. Just that... Well, never mind. Sorry, just ignore me. I'm a little out of it.
You okay, Aspen?
It's fine, don't worry. But I can't just ignore you either. What's wrong?
Aspen sighs, and then shrugs.
Let's go sit up front and I'll tell you. You need to open the library soon, right?
If I had to guess, her book got rejected, which is... oof.
Yeah? Wanna help?
I'd love to.
Most of the preparations are already done, but we find things to do. I organize the front desk, taking care of some of the clutter, while Aspen does a quick once over of the shelves and fixes a few out of place books. It reminds me a little of my first day working here, when Aspen helped out. She's a lot quieter this time, although she keeps herself busy. I wait for her to bring up whatever it is that's on her mind, rather than try to nudge it out of her. After a while, we sit down behind the desk, where Aspen looks right at home. She casually unpacks her bag, setting aside a small hand mirror and a new notebook. Then she removes an envelope. It has a fancy logo at the top, but not one that I recognize.
This was waiting for me in the mail yesterday.
The plastic part of the envelope cracks as Aspen removes the piece of paper from inside, frowning as she unfolds it. I watch her eyes move as she reads through it silently before sighing again.
It says, "Dear Ms. Benoit, we appreciate your manuscript submission and commend you for your success in completing a novel. Unfortunately, we do not find that it fits the criteria we're currently searching for, and as such must respectfully decline."
Aspen, don't let listen, don't let that deter you. You keep at it. It's just one book they rejected, okay? Sometimes you gotta find a few different publishers to take a look at it. Or maybe make another manuscript, but don't take it as a failure. It's just your first step.
Respectfully, Purple Penguin Publications.
Clapping her hand with the paper, she clicks her tongue.
That's it. Not even 50 words, including names. I doubt they even read past the first chapter.
Wait, they said no? Why?
As it says, it's not what they're looking for. I wish they would have given more detail than that, but I suppose I'm lucky to hear anything back at all.
They're totally gonna regret it in the future when your books are really popular.
I hope you're right. I was prepared for rejections, of course. Even Agatha Christie didn't get published until her second book. Still, I wasn't expecting them to come in so fast.
You sent it to a few different ones, right?
Right, I made a list of my top 15 choices and submitted it to all of them. At first, it was going to be my top 10, but I decided maybe I should expand it some. It turns out that was a good idea. So far, 3 of them have already said no. This one stung a bit more because Purple Penguin is one I was hoping would say yes the most.
I'm sorry. I hope your other top choices still work out.
Yes, me too. It's why I wasn't going to tell you and Juliet at first. I wanted to wait until I had good news to share. But I'm not sure that'll be coming. I'll try not to be a downer, though. I knew there was a good chance this would happen. Don't let me distract you from work, either.
Nah, you won't. Here, look at these.
In an effort to cheer her up, I pull out some of the writing practices that I've been working on and show them to Aspen.
Wow, you've improved so much already. This looks great, Miho.
With a genuine smile, Aspen slowly flips through the pages. I know there's not much to see, since it's a lot of repeating the same thing over and over, but she still looks at every one.
Really, I'm so proud of you.
Thanks.
Showing Aspen my attempts to learn how to write feels a little silly compared to her finishing a whole novel, but I can tell that she means every word of praise.
I'm proud of myself too.
And you should be, Miho. I don't tell her that a big part of my motivation is being able to read what she writes. I want it to be a surprise when I get there. From the very start, Having Aspen in my life has inspired me to be a better person. Now that we're in love, it makes me want to try at least twice as hard. I want to be able to love her writing too. Aw, ain't that sweet. Even if those penguin people don't like it, I'm sure I will, because it comes from her heart. I believe in Aspen, even when she doesn't, just like she's always believed in me. I want to do everything I can to live up to that faith. Aspen sticks around for a while, reading a book from one of the shelves. I keep my nose to the grindstone all morning, using every free minute that I get to practice, only taking a break to say goodbye to Aspen when she leaves. Even when it gets boring, which doesn't take very long, and even after my hand starts to hurt, I keep practicing. One letter at a time, I'll get there. Yeah, but don't push yourself too hard, Miho. That you gotta keep at it at a steady, affordable pace. Affordable is not the right word. Possible? Plausible? It's the word for when something is frick. I'll remember later. Ooh, alright, let's hang out. Early in the afternoon, my phone buzzes as I get a call. I check it, expecting to see Juliet or Aspen, but I'm surprised, and not surprised, when I see that it's Lena.
Hello?
Miho, I need your help. It's an emergency.
What? What's wrong?
Come to the park. I'll tell you there.
The call ends when Lena hangs up. I have no clue what's going on, but it sounds serious. I put on my shoes and hurry to the park as fast as I can. When I get there, I quickly spot Lena, her bright pink outfit making it easy.
Lena, what's happening?
Oh, Miho, good thing you're here. It's a disaster. Cyrus asked me to be in a play with him.
Ain't that a positive? Huh?
Play? Wait, that's it?
What do you mean, that's it?
I thought you were hurt or something. You said it was an emergency.
It is. I have to give him my answer soon.
Just say yes, Lena, you got this. Don't fumble the bag now. Damn. I sigh and force myself to come down to Lena's level. I was expecting to find out someone was hurt. So I'm just relieved that's not the case.
Okay, I don't get it. Why is that such a bad thing? I thought you wanted to spend time with him.
I do, but that's a lot of responsibility. He wants me to play Siegfried, and he'd be the White Swan.
I don't know the characters, but that seems a little backwards. Are you afraid you can't do it?
Sort of. I'm afraid that if something went wrong, that'd ruin any chance I have.
Seeing Lena be so nervous about something is the total opposite of what I normally expect from her. Even during the other activities we tried, she always gave it her all. Yeah, I'm struggling to read tonight, I'm sorry. Deep breaths, stretch. Back in the game, back in the game.
When do you have to give him an answer?
Today! That's why it's an emergency!
Girl, just say yes.
Whoa, can't you tell him you need longer to think about it?
Well, it's already been a while. I thought I'd make up my mind by now, but I still haven't. What do you think I should do?
Just then, I noticed Cyrus himself walking up the path towards us.
Oh, there he is.
Lena turns to see him, and then looks back to me with a fright.
I'm out of time!
She tries to put on a cool face as Cyrus reaches the two of us.
Hi there. Sorry to bug you, Lena, but have you decided yet?
Not
forgot. Still thinking about it, sorry.
It's already been a week.
Nuh-uh, not for another 43 minutes. Then it'll have been a week.
Both Cyrus and I just stare at her.
Can you make up your mind in the next 43 minutes?
You bet I can.
Okay, I'll just stand here.
Wait, for real?
Do I look like I'm joking?
I can never really tell.
Cyrus sighs.
Look, you don't have to do it if you don't want to. But I need to know so I can ask someone else. I already have someone cast for all the other main roles. It's just Siegfried and a couple extras that are left.
Finally, he looks at me.
Sorry to interrupt your conversation.
It's okay. We were just talking about you.
Wait, you know who I am?
Yeah, we've met before. We were partners at that painting class.
Huh. I was trying to remember who I was paired up with. I have the picture I made, but it didn't really help much.
Yeah, I have this magic where people forget about me after a day if I don't talk to them again.
I've had to explain this so many times by now. It just feels normal to talk about.
Really? I think I have that too, except it's not magic.
Bruh.
How do you and Lena know each other then?
We do a vid call every day. I talk about my life, and Miho talks about hers.
So far, that's only really half true. But I don't mind.
I see. Say, Miho, right? How would you feel about being a tree?
A tree.
Yeah, in the play, I mean. There's still a couple small parts like that I need to fill.
Oh,
It's kind of a little rude, right? Miho definitely can score a larger role than a tree. Lena's face lights up with excitement.
if you do it, I'll do it.
Wait.
My immediate reaction is to say no. Being up on a stage in front of people, that's still a lot for me, no matter how much better I've gone at talking. But it seems like it would be helping out Lena and Cyrus too.
What would I have to do?
Stand there. Haven't you seen a tree before?
Can't y'all use a tree prop?
That's it.
That's it.
I sigh the heaviest sigh in my life. I hope I don't regret this. Let me, I don't know how that sounds, so if it sounds horrible, I'll cut that out in post.
Fine.
Both of them perk up, and I see an actual smile on Cyrus's face for once. Maybe the first time ever.
Cool. I appreciate it.
We're gonna be great. You're gonna be the best tree in the play.
Rehearsal starts soon. I'll send you both the info. I guess I'll need to talk to you every day too, right?
Yeah, otherwise you'd have to ask me every time.
Oh, let's make a group chat.
Lena instantly pulls out her phone and starts tapping.
I'm not sure.
Done.
I feel my phone shake in my pocket, and I see Cyrus check his as well.
I guess that works. Anyway, thanks, both of you. See you at rehearsal.
See ya.
Bye.
So for a long time, I thought rehearsal was pronounced rehearsal. Oops. Cyrus takes off, leaving Lena and I by ourselves.
Thanks as well. I feel a lot better having someone else I know be there.
No prob. Although, I'm not so sure about being in front of a crowd. Plus, all the other actors will forget who I am unless I talk to them too.
Maybe we can make a really big group chat. Well, I'm sure it'll be fine if you're just gonna be an extra. It'd be a bigger problem if you were gonna have a speaking role.
Yeah, that's true. Have you ever been in a play before?
Not since I was in school, but I know the story and the part, so it should be okay. Now that I've decided, I'm gonna do my best.
Now that she seems a lot more like Lena I know. Now she seems more like the Lena I know, fiery and full of energy. That was a surprisingly easy emergency to deal with.
In fact, I'm gonna go start practicing. See you soon!
I wave goodbye as Lena leaves. I'm not entirely sure what I've gotten myself into, but I guess I'll find out soon enough. Not long after the sun went down, it started to get pretty cold. Clouds came in out of nowhere, and so did the wind. I find myself sitting in the windowsill, looking out before I go to sleep for the night. It's cozy in here, and I have plenty of extra blankets if I need them. My breath fogs up the window, but the cold stays on the other side. Up on Mount Victoria, though, in the trees and valleys, it must be miserable out there. I wonder where Silver is, and how she deals with the rain. Does she make a hole and burrow underground like I used to? Or maybe she finds somewhere dry to sneak into, like an empty shed or abandoned house. She's rude and abrasive, and hasn't said a single nice thing to me, but I hope she's safe anyway. As the only other Gumiho I've met, I can't help but care about her, just a little. I doubt she feels the same way about me. Well, that's okay. I wouldn't either, in her shoes. Still, I know how bad it feels to be stuck out in the cold, with everything turning into mud around you, or shivering under a tree that blocks most, but not all of the rain. Wherever she is, I hope she's warm and dry. I wonder if that's the first time someone's wished that for her. The next day, the rain has stopped, but it's still gross and wet outside. Dreary, as Aspen put it. Still, it's as busy a day as I've ever seen at the library. My main job is stopping people at the door and getting them to wipe the mud off their shoes before they go in. I care a lot about it, because my secondary job is cleaning up mud off the carpet. The door swings open, and a big Cyclops stomps in, looking around.
Hiya! Welcome to the library. Wipe your feet before you come in.
Pardon? I won't be here long. I don't mean to get in your way. I'm just looking for a friend.
Who's your friend?
Oh, no one. I'm sure he said he'll be here, but I don't see him. I'll try again later.
Oh, okay. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you. And I do apologize if I got any dirt on your floor.
Apologizing all the way back out the door, the Cyclops leaves as quickly as he came. The door stays shut, which gives me a minute to find some fresh towels and rags. Once the entryway is as tidy as I can get it, I sit back down behind the desk to work on my reading and writing. Oopsie. It isn't long before the door swings open again, but it shuts before anyone enters, and I can hear grumbling from outside.
Come on, Pippa. At least hold the door.
I'm protecting the notebook. You get the door.
Here, let me.
The poor door pops open one more time, and 3 kids in matching uniforms trudge in. Okay. A mermaid, a bunny, and a koala bear. 2 of them, including one carrying a notebook, who must be Pippa, looks around in awe, while the other girl approaches me.
Hello there, miss. My name's Cello. My friends and I are here in New Zealand for a class trip, and we're supposed to research and put together a project on a special place in Wellington. We were hoping you might have some suggestions for where to start.
Hey, I'm Miho. But, I'm not the best person to ask, really. I've only lived here for a couple months. But I know a couple people who might be able to help. One of them's at work right now. The other one also lives here at the library, but she's asleep right now.
Did you say she lives here?
And did you say also?
Armand, Pippa, please. I'm sorry my 2 friends don't know how to not be so nosy.
It's fine, it's fine. Julie, she's the one who owns this place. And I both live here. I have a room upstairs.
That sounds like it would be too good to be true. Think about it. You'd have all kinds of books around for inspiration.
Or just for reading. It'd be impossible to get bored in a place like this.
You'd be surprised. But you guys aren't the first ones to say that.
Is it alright if we look around?
It is a library, you know. They're meant for looking around.
It's still polite to ask.
Yep, it's fine. Let me know if you need help finding anything.
We will. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
The noisy pair heads off to browse the books. Although they seem like carefree kids, I can tell that they're handling the books with respect, as Juliet would say. The third girl, Cello, stays by the desk.
Ms. Miho? Since you're new here, would it be alright if I asked you a few questions about your experiences?
She also has a notebook with her. Although it's smaller than Pippa's, it reminds me of the ones Aspen always carries with her.
Sure, I don't mind. But like I said, I don't know much about Wellington or New Zealand at all.
That's okay. It's why I wanted to ask. I also haven't lived in Amarina for very long. I'm not even from the underworld. My family and I just moved there, so I don't know it the same way Armand and Pippa do. I hope that didn't sound weird.
I know what you mean. Don't worry. I'm not from the underworld either. Go ahead, ask away.
Thank you.
She takes a seat in one of the chairs near me, tail curling around one of her legs.
Is there anything you wish you'd known before you came here?
Looking out the window, I can see my answer.
I wish I'd known how rainy it was going to be. I wasn't prepared for it at first.
Do you not like the rain? I love it. It reminds me of being home in the ocean.
She flaps her tail enthusiastically.
I wish it would rain every day. That was one of the hardest things to get used to when my family moved on shore to Amarina. It's so dry, even with the canals. Is there anything that makes this city different from others you've been to? Or anything you miss?
It's hard to say. I've made more friends than I have anywhere else. Maybe it's something about the people. Everyone I've met has been really friendly. So, there's not too much that I don't have here.
Oh, that's good to know. It's not always easy for me to talk to people, so I've been worried about doing this report.
I'm the same way. I think you're doing just fine.
Thanks, Ms. Miho. Did you ever have a project like this when you were in school?
Well... I didn't really go to school, so to speak.
Were you homeschooled?
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, I see. I just have one more question. Do you have a favorite place in Wellington so far?
My favorite place?
Oh, we get to pick? Yo? Let's pick the Bell House, because that is synonymous with Aspen.
There's a cafe I like called the Bell House. I have a friend who works there, actually. The drinks they make are good, and it's a nice place to relax.
That does sound really nice. I think it's hard to feel like you belong somewhere until you find a special place for yourself.
Kid, you're young, you're wise beyond your years. Also, like, actually, I don't know how old you guys are. After writing down all my answers, Cello puts down her pen.
Maybe that's the problem. No matter what, it's going to be hard for us to write if we don't see anything for ourselves. Thanks for answering all my questions. We're going to be here all week, so we'll probably come back with more.
Anytime. Good luck with your project.
Thank you. I'll go make sure my friends aren't causing any problems either.
They're not, luckily, and after a while, all three of them leave the library again.
Nice kids.
Yeah, those were some swell kids. I've never met kids that nice, and I used to tutor at the library, okay? Kids are not nice. They are mean old things. Okay, I can now spend time wherever I would like. Let's see. How about we go down Cuba Street, maybe do a little bit of shopping? A bakery on this street is giving away free samples today. So of course I'm sneaking by it as many times as I possibly can and filling my pocket with goodies. She's just like me for real though. I just really need to sample it and make sure I like it. Once my pockets are practically stuffed with little puffs of bread, I slide off into an alleyway to sample my spoils in peace. Uh-oh. I hadn't realized these were cream-filled and squishable, and now my pockets are a mess. Well, I pop the one still in my hand into my mouth. At least. Wait, I pop the one still in my hand into my mouth at least. Luckily, it's really good. Washing my jacket out in the river is probably going to be a little less good.
Whole day to ourselves, finally! This has been one of the busiest weeks of my life.
Mine too. But in a good way.
Of course. The best way.
Alone with each other in the library, Aspen slides her chair closer so she can kiss my cheek.
What do you want to do today? The world is our oyster.
Oysters. Wanna get lunch?
I like fried oysters. I don't actually like... Because I know some people eat oysters raw. And I also know some people steam oysters. But fried is the best.
We just finished breakfast.
It reminds me of that stupid SpongeBob sketch.
It's never too early to start thinking about lunch.
Laughing, Aspen stands up and offers me her hand.
It's a little early for that, but I could do with some fresh air. Care to join me for a walk?
Sure. I'll go anywhere you want.
Her hand squeezes mine as we step outside into the daylight. Everything feels different and new when I'm with Aspen now. Something as simple as walking down the hill from the library, something I've done almost every day for months now, feels more special with her next to me. I had been expecting falling in love to be harder, or something I had to push myself to do. I've been surprised by how easy it is. Like a dam that has been holding back a river, since I let myself open up the possibilities of being in love, the rest has come naturally. Simply existing around her feels nice. I meant it when I said I'd go anywhere she wanted.
It's been a while since I've seen the ocean. How about a walk to the waterfront?
Sounds good. That's where the oysters are, after all.
Miho, you're still thinking about oysters?
Not quite what I was thinking, but close enough.
Let's see if I can remember how to get there.
Oh, I know the way. Want me to lead?
By all means.
I told you guys, a few episodes, was it last episode? Was it a few episodes ago? I don't remember. I told you Miho was the top. There is absolutely no way Aspen is like a top. She's not even a switch. Sorry. I'm sorry for all of you 8 people watching who think Aspen is a top. Y'all are wrong. She might be taller, but she's not a top. I take us towards Mount Victoria and the beach. Other people smile or nod as we wave. Wait, what? Other people smile or nod or wave as we pass them by, sometimes with a word of greeting too.
I can't believe you've only been here a fraction of the time I have, but you already know your way around so much better than I do.
I also, tend to know places pretty quick too.
I used a lot of that time to learn. Besides, Navigating is second nature for me. I can do it without trying.
I'm glad, because I'm not sure if I've ever mentioned, but I'm terrible with directions myself.
I'm terrible with left and right, but I'm great with map directions.
It's a good thing you offered to lead, because I was about to take us in the other direction.
That would have been fun too. Would have been a surprise for both of us.
Yes, and for whatever poor person whose yard we wander into.
Don't worry. That's something else I'm good at. Not getting caught in people's yards.
Aspen laughs.
Maybe I'd be better at it than navigating, at least. Do you ever miss it? That life, I mean.
Nah.
She glances at me in surprise.
That was awfully quick. You didn't even have to think about it.
Girl, she was out in the freezing cold scavenging for food all the time.
I've thought about it a lot, actually. Almost all the time for a while. But even though there are things that I miss, there are too many things that I have now that I couldn't give up. Like this.
I stop walking for a second so that I can kiss her cheek, like she did to me this morning.
Very true. You better not give that up. Still, you've got to avoid things like going to work or paying bills and all the other little things that most people wish they could run away from.
People like you?
Absolutely people like me. I first fell in love with reading because it was an escape from the real world. A distraction from being alone, or sad, or anything else. Even if I couldn't live an exciting life, at least I could experience one through someone else's eyes and words. In those stories, there were often characters who remind me of you. Going wherever they please, doing whatever their hearts tell them to. Having wished so desperately to go from my normal, boring life to one of adventure, I would certainly understand if you ever wanted to go back to it.
I shake my head.
You've got it all wrong. What you just said about going where I want or following my heart, I'm doing both of those things right now.
Damn, that was smooth as fuck, Miho. Oh, shit, can't curse. Ah, damn! We're not too far from the water, but we're even closer to Mount Victoria. Looking up towards its top, I have an idea.
Do you mind if we go up the mountain a little bit? I want to show you something.
The mountain? I'm not exactly dressed for hiking, or built for it.
That's fine. It's not a hike. It's pretty easy to get to.
All right, well, I'm up for it. Lead the way. Again.
We take the regular trail up towards the top, but before we reach the summit, I lead us off the path.
This way.
I can see the curiosity on Aspen's face, but she doesn't question me. It'll be easier to just show her anyway. It's slower as a human than as a fox, but it doesn't take us long to reach our destination.
Ta-da! Here we are.
And this is... where?
Home sweet home. Or at least it was.
My den is in even worse condition now than it was last time I came. I actually have to spend a moment looking for the exact spot. Once I find it, I move aside some of the brush that's built up over the heap of mud.
This was my den. I lived here until Juliet let me move into the library. I buried food that I stole in the ground to save it for later, so everything was at least a little dirty. And when it rained, my ceiling would turn into my floor. Still, it was one of the nicer dens I've made, if I do say so myself. And I've made a lot of dens. But now that I've had my own bed, pillows and stuff, it'd be hard to sleep in a hole in the ground again.
Looking around, Aspen nods. She picks up a branch that's fallen halfway into the collapsed burrow.
I do love what you've done with the place, though. Ceiling on the floor, or not.
Well, if you ever need a break from your apartment.
We both laugh, and I hope that Aspen believes me. The same way that she feels about me, I feel about her. She paces around a little bit, exploring the area. Not that there's much to see. Eventually, she returns to my side.
Thank you for showing me all the same. Even if it's better, I know it can't be easy to just turn your life around 100%.
Absolutely, Aspen. People who have led hard lives find it difficult to get, when everything feels normal or nicer. And some people might feel even more comfortable not living that life.
There are things I miss sometimes, but trust me, I like what I have now way more. If I didn't want to be with you, I wouldn't be. I'm really good at running away from things I don't like. I'm not going anywhere.
I have seen that for myself. It's true.
Exactly. So I mean everything I say to you. Everything.
I just now, took a solid minute to look at, the characters more, because usually I just kind of take in the whole picture by itself. The way they drew the eyes of the characters is actually exactly how I draw eyes. Huh. Interesting. Of course, I can't draw it as nearly as nicely, but yeah, it's the top line, right, for the top eyelashes, a bottom line, and then just a little indentation for the eyelid. Cool. I don't mind at all, but standing with her next to what used to be my den, it feels like a strange collision of my past and present. It's taken some time to getting used to, and there are still things that surprise me or are tough to deal with in my everyday life. When I dug this hole, I never would have guessed it would be the last time. Before Aspen and before Wellington, I never had anything else to go back to. But being here and seeing what I did leave behind, I don't regret that life, but I don't miss it. Every day is better with Aspen in it, and Juliet... coughing fit, sorry. And Juliet as well. I just have to do my best to make sure that's true for them too. Judging by the way Aspen holds my hand as we go back down the mountain, and the way she laughs at all my dumb jokes, I feel like I'm doing an okay job so far. You know what word I recently learned? And, so, it all started when one of my cousins told me that the military visited their school, and he said to me that one of his friends said that whoever visited had Riz. And I was like, what the frick is Riz? Right? Apparently it means you get ladies. I don't understand. But yeah, to stay hip and young and cool with the kids, how do you do, fellow kids? I guess Miho has that Riz. As evening rolls around, I walk down to the waterfront for a special treat. Both days so far that I've checked with Mr. Kim, he's been enjoying some kind of delicious-looking meal that his wife prepared. When I mentioned how I often miss Korean food, he promised to treat me to dinner tonight. Most of the time that I've gone to the fishing spot, it was with the food on my mind. I wouldn't have expected this to be the first meal I actually get out of it. The pier is mostly empty when I get there, aside from Mr. Kim himself. He waves merrily as I approach.
Oh, Miho, 안녕.
Being greeted in Korean surprises me, and it takes me a second to respond properly. I'm not even going to attempt the greeting because I don't think I have a very good pronunciation of it.
안녕하세요.
Yeah, it's gonna try that. I'm more than a little rusty when it comes to speaking Korean, but I think I managed to sound okay. Still, using the common language is a lot easier at this point.
Glad you could join me. I've brought us a feast.
Sure enough, he has a few bags full of plastic containers sitting by his chair.
Ooh, thanks. I've been looking forward to this for hours.
Hey, quick. Because food just got brought up, I just realized, right? Listen. The Kim-san in Judgment is not nearly as cool as this Kim. I will fight you.
Me too. There's nothing like a home-cooked meal to wrap up the day. Go ahead and have a seat.
He gestures to another chair, as well as a small folding table with a cloth draped over it.
Don't mind if I do.
Mr. Kim hands me a plate and a small bowl, and then starts stacking the food on the table. I watch as he lifts box after box from the bags. I'm reminded a little bit of Juliet back when I first got here. Although Mr. Kim accepted my explanation of my magic pretty easily, it's still awfully generous of him to do all this for my sake. I'm definitely not complaining though. I can see kimchi and rice, plus a couple of other things I don't recognize, or don't remember the names of.
This all looks delicious. Thanks for bringing it.
I'll tell my wife. She's the one who did the cooking, and she says she hopes that it reminds you of home. When was the last time you visited Korea?
It's been a really long time. I don't even know how many years.
No family back there?
Nah, I don't have any. I didn't have any friends until I came to Wellington either.
Ah, of course. But you do now, at least. We may go at different speeds, but eventually we all end up where we're meant to be.
Wise words, Mr. Kim.
Yeah, I never tried that hard before either. Now that I have a phone and stuff, it's a lot easier.
Well, here's to new old friends then.
He pours 2 cups of cold barley tea and hands me one. Then he retrieves an even bigger thermos and carefully fills 2 bowls with its contents. The aroma of chicken and garlic hits my nose the moment he takes off the lid. It's been years since I've had it, but I still recognize that smell immediately.
Is that samgyetang?
Ah. My dad was gonna try to make me that. I don't think he did it right.
It sure is. The nose knows, doesn't it?
I don't know when the last time I had this was.
The soup is made from boiling a chicken with ginseng, and there's sticky rice stuffed into the chicken. The last time I was in Korea was a very special occasion whenever I was able to enjoy a bowl. Isn't that because it's technically like a health food? Right? Like that was the whole reason my dad was trying to make it for me. It was a lot harder to steal compared to solid foods, but the only times I could have it were when I actually spent some money to buy some. Modern day Korea is very different from the Korea that I come from, but I still have some good memories from my time there. Finally, after pouring the soup, Mr. Kim hands me a spoon and a pair of chopsticks.
Let's dig in.
I have to carefully arrange all my dishes on the table and on my lap to make everything fit. He pops the top off the various sides and serves me a bit of each. It's been so long since I've used chopsticks either, but my hands remember how to hold them. All the food tastes even better than it looks. It looks pretty good to begin with. From the spicy tang of the kimchi to the rich broth of the soup, everything is amazing. The barley tea is the perfect addition to wash everything down. I'm not sure if I've had barley tea before.
Go ahead and eat up. I can always have more at home.
He leaves most of the food for me, only nibbling on a few things. When all the containers are finally empty, I dig my chopsticks around to scrape up the last few bits and pieces.
That was so good. Thanks again.
Of course, of course. It's always a pleasure to share dinner with a friend.
Do you ever eat the fish that you catch?
Sometimes. Or sometimes I'll go purchase some from the market. Next time, I'll have to bring you some meontang.
Yes, please.
Hang on. Meontang. I'm probably not pronouncing that right. Spicy fish stew. Huh. Now that's a specialty of my dad for sure. Well, I guess the way he makes it would be more Sichuan style. Because there's gochujang in this. And, I'm the only person in my household that cooks with gochujang. Mr. Kim chuckles, then slaps his knee and stands up.
Well, it's about time for me to be heading home. Thanks for the company.
Thanks for the meal.
I help Mr. Kim bag up all the empty containers. He loads those into a basket on a bicycle, and then with one last wave, sets off on his ride. For a little bit longer, I stay on the pier and admire the sea, enjoying how pleasantly full I am. Then, I start walking home as well. Man, it's been so cozy. But, okay. This is the last one, and then we stop, folks. Okay? Okay? Only a few days after I agreed to be in a play with Lena and Cyrus. It's time for the first rehearsal. Even though I'm not going to be as involved in it as they are, I still want to see what everything is like. Oh man, I demolished that sentence. I'm so sorry. I head to the park and find the area that's been set up to practice. When I get there, I find a bunch of people waiting, more than at any of the other activities I've tried for Lena. Most of them are reading through thick packets of paper, standing alone or in small groups. Lena's one of the people on her own, until I go and join her.
Hey, Miho! Ready to be a tree?
As ready as I'll ever be. What about you? Are you nervous?
Me? Nervous? No way!
So that only happens when it comes to Cyrus, huh?
Maybe just a little. That's different, though. Hey, you should go find him and get a copy of the script, too.
It isn't hard to locate Cyrus. He's surrounded by a few boxes of props, snacks, and other supplies. Like Lena promised, or maybe threatened, he's been included in our check-in calls to make sure he remembers me. He nods when he sees me approaching.
Oh, it's my favorite tree.
Hey! Lena said I should get a copy of the script.
That's a pretty good idea. Let me find yours.
He digs through a bunch of copies of the script until he finds one with my name on it.
Here you go. I marked all the parts where you'll be on stage.
I flip through the pages. A few sections are circled in red pen. I'm glad he did that because it would take me a very, very long time to read through the whole thing on my own.
Feel free to relax for today. We'll do some dry reads and not much else.
Okay, I can do that.
I wander back to Lena, who's boldly speaking to no one.
But Mother, today is my birthday. It's not necessary to...
She stops, shaking her head.
Maybe a bit more whiny. Oh, Miho! Tell me which one you think sounds better.
She repeats the line she was practicing twice. Just like when she made a drink to compete with Aspen, I have a hard time telling the difference.
The second one.
Okay, I thought so too. In ballet, you don't have to worry about talking or sounding good. This is harder than I thought.
Have you done the ballet version before?
Nah, but I've seen others perform it a million times. I'm sure I'd end up doing it someday if I'd stuck with ballet.
Why'd you quit? I never really got the chance to ask before.
Lena looks off into the distance, seeming unusually serious. Her wings sag and she bites her lip.
It's kind of complicated. mostly because my parents really wanted me to do it. Like, really wanted. Ballet or dancing or anything like that. But I'm just like, hello? Can you get any more cliche than a swan girl doing ballet? Or any of that stuff? That's one of the reasons I wasn't sure about saying yes to Cyrus.
I don't get it. What's so bad about that?
They're always like, do this, do that, it's tradition, it's expected, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to live my life like that, you know? I want to do my own thing.
Oh my god. I know I've said she's just like me for real to a bunch of things, but this one takes the cake.
So you quit ballet because you don't like it?
I do like ballet, and I'm good at it too. But if I kept doing it, it wouldn't be for myself. Does that make sense?
I think so.
A little too much, Lena. It reminds me of some of the conversations I've had with Aspen and Juliet, where they encourage me to do things for myself. Lena's in the same situation, but from a different angle.
Anyway, now that I've said yes to doing this, I'll do my best. I've got to be the best actor in the whole performance.
That sounds more like the Lena I know. I'll let her practice her lines to me, sometimes saying the lines for other characters if she asks for it. Eventually, Cyrus calls everyone together to do some parts as a group. I sit on the sidelines and watch. Both Lena and Cyrus give it their all, just like Lena promised. Some of the other actors sound a little bored or unsure of themselves, but those two don't have any issues. After a while, Cyrus calls an end to the rehearsal, and we all go our separate ways until next time. Okay, so, like I said, just that part, and that's it. So, we will see you guys next time. I hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, thank you for watching.
Oh, I'm gonna take a 5.